Hello, humans.
I know how much I don't know. I prefer to think of myself as an ordinary man pursuing extraordinary knowledge. I believe that within each one of us is the ability to pursue spiritual high places within each one of us. Unfortunately, we've had that drummed out of us by our masters who perceive that they are the masters of our destiny. But I believe that the earth was created by a higher form of life than that which presents itself to lead us today. We don't have political leaders. We have misleaders. And consequently, we cannot depend on other men. So anytime you start thinking in terms of government as there to help you and to take care of you, you better do your homework and find out that's only there for one reason, to control you. We are living right now, I believe, in Berlin, 1939-40. As far as I'm concerned, we need to begin to wake up and find out what freedom is all about and start asking some very serious questions about who is leading us and where are they taking the human family.
So we're in the Doubt-Wu period. Doubt is an interesting thing, okay? If you want to talk about the mental constructs and how we form thoughts and this kind of thing, all action from all humans is entirely done through hormones. All decisions are done through hormones. If you don't have hormones, you become entirely placid. You can't make a decision. You just are, if your hormones become imbalanced, you can get to the point where you can't make a decision on anything. It's a weird kind of a condition. Psychiatrists and others, physiological medical doctors think of it as various different kinds of a physiological or a mental condition, but really it relates to hormones. Hormonal imbalance is a very terrible thing relative to all parts of your body, including your brain, but also your willpower and your direction as an aware and active human. So it's critical that you do things to promote effective hormones in your body. One thing you can do is to not ever, ever, ever eat any seed oil, no olive oil, no canola. No canola under any circumstances. Stay away from fast food. That's killing you. Okay, you can eat as much fat as you want. You can eat as much bacon fat as you can stomach, as much beef tallow as you can stomach, because those fats are used to produce cholesterol in your skin, or in your body. It goes to your brain. It aids your brain. 25% of all the cholesterol your body produces will go to your brain. So if you're taking statins, you're reducing the cholesterol to your brain, and you're fucking your brain over. But you eat the fats, you get the cholesterol. The cholesterol goes throughout the entire body. It has multiple functions. One of the functions that it has is that it starts off a chain of events in your skin whereby light on your skin causes the production of vitamin D if the light frequency is appropriate. That is to say, if it's UVB sunlight and you're at a particular latitude where you can get enough of it, you will start the production of vitamin D in your skin as a result of the cholesterol reacting to the photons coming on in. A crude way of getting into this, right? Anyway, so it creates the vitamin D. Vitamin D is a prohormone, a protohormone, an active hormone, and a dynamic hormone. And so, and it's involved in 3,000 functions in your system, right? Many of those functions are related to, and it's like maybe hundreds, are related to the relative balance of hormones through this weird chain. So you can think of it, you have this hormone chain. And if you have enough cholesterol and you have enough sunlight, you get the vitamin D created, and it goes through multiple changes and becomes various different forms of vitamin D, and it affects this production of hormones in your body. And one of the main things it does, there's this primary switch. This primary switch produces either cortisol or it produces what is termed, and we don't want to get into it and get into the weeds too much, but the sex hormones, okay? The sex hormones are basically all of your healthy hormones. Estrogen is a testosterone, but a plethora of others, literally hundreds of them. Okay, they're all classed under the sex hormone grouping because they're not in the cortisol grouping, which is stress. Now, cortisol can produce estrogen as part of its production process. If your body, okay, so if you get cancer, your body switches that primary switch into cortisol production and you go to shit. I've been there. You get very little production of your regular hormones, enough to keep you alive because the cancer can't kill you that quick, but not enough to be functioning and healthy. So this is one of the first things that if your regular hormones go to hell, maybe you should examine yourself to see if you've got some kind of a nascent cancer, because one of the very first reactions you'll get way before there's any kind of a visible sign frequently, maybe some enzymes of others have changed, but you'll get a massive amount of cortisol relative to the other hormones in an otherwise unexplained fashion, right? Okay, so we get this production chain, we get down here, we get the sex hormones. All of these hormones here and all of these hormones here affect your mind and your decisions. And this is the healthy side, and this is basically the unhealthy side, unless you're in stress of the moment. Then it's very healthy, but it can't be long-term because then it becomes unhealthy. Long-term is determined by your body. Some people's long-term stress hormone capacity is very, very, very low. And so in war, you will see people be classified as like battle shock or all different kinds of, PTSD, all of these kind of things, right? This is the stress hormone. These are people who don't have a capacity to absorb and stay in a stress hormone state for very long. So it's not a good thing, but I can stay in a stress hormone state for a long period of time, as I've proven going through these cancers. My father was able to do that. That's what made him a good on-the-ground soldier, because he could take the stress day after day after day after day and not have his body go to shit and not have it affect his mind. So you have to understand, right? So the seed oils interrupt your ability to have this primary switch operate at a optimal level. So no seed oils and get into real fats, and that provides the basis for this primary switch to provide the effective hormones. Now, the fats go to produce the hormones themselves. All right, they produce sugars in your liver and all different other kinds of stuff, but they're a repository, a reservoir for making all these hormones. From these hormones, you make decisions, good or bad, right? If you're all stressed out all the time, and you know people like this, they don't think very well. They're not making very good decisions. It is true that people with wisdom who understand how certain things work, this in people. So you can see this in coaches, right? Especially like high school coaches that have coached lots of people. They've been in the job, they've been doing coaching for 10 or 15 years or something, right? They will be able to get a new class, and they'll be able to look over all of these people all these kids that think they are potential athletes and have dreams and so forth, and they'll be able to tell based on how the kids react and their body types and so forth, if they're suited for the sport they want to get into and if they're going to last, and be able to take the stress of it all. And, a lot of times you crap out in these things because you've got something going on that's not really you. So you might crap out on sports and have because you've got too much stress hormone because you've been fed a diet of seed oils all your life and you're munching down seed oils in fast food. And then seed oils do so much other stuff. They swell your joints, they cause inflammation like mad and so on. They're basically not good for humans. They're polluting our body. And this is deliberate. This was deliberately done to weaken us, okay? And it started off, in the 1920s, and it was through an infiltration of the Seventh-day Adventists.
We are in serious trouble on this earth, and the people who are guiding the destiny of this world are profoundly evil. Their agenda is so profoundly evil, most men are not even able to perceive it. But go back into history a little bit, into 1944, 1945, and look at the concentration camps. Look at the total devastation of human liberty and freedom foisted on the people of Germany and the rest of Europe, but ultimately on the whole world. And you will begin to realize what's coming for America. We are truly living in the last days. There is no doubt in my mind about that. But the last days of what? So many times people are misunderstanding those terms in the Bible. I totally believe we are living in the last times, in the last days of an old era, of an old dispensation. And we are very quickly arriving at a place where we're going to confront our God. We're going to confront those who have created us. I believe that we are on the precipice of a whole new civilization which is coming on the earth. And I think that this civilization is going to be the most diabolical, the most terrible thing that's ever happened on the earth. And unless we humans get back to our own spirituality and start thinking in terms of being in contact with our divine essence in space, with our divine presence in space, men have called God, but unless we get back in tune with the universe and start appreciating freedom and respect for other people, and I'm not the glowing example of any of this. I'm equally as guilty as everyone else is of forgetting these principles.